Hello, everybody. Shadow SP here, and recording more for Granblue Fantasy. As you may be able to see, we're back on info, and today we're going to talk about story events. So let's go down, and with no further ado, click on the last Sumo Warrior, the as of recording, currently running story event. I went ahead. I went ahead and cleared the story ahead of time. If you haven't cleared the story, when you come onto this screen, it'll look similar, except instead of having event battles here, it'll just be a story chapter box. And you just have to clear all the story chapters, and during the course of that, you'll unlock the raids, everything like that. So, what we're looking at here, we've got, first of all, the cosmetic thing, which is one of the characters that's involved in the event, and a voice line. There's a bunch of these every event. They change depending on which stage you're at. I believe, yeah, you can see event voices down here in the extra tab, along with the trophies and everything like that. But that's really not why we're here. Though it is kind of a cool thing to do. And if you want to replay the story, you can do that too. Anyway, why we're here. So, there's a lot of things that happen in an event like this. There's not much to do, but there are a lot of moving parts, if that makes any sense. So, first of all, you'll see this mission tab. There's a daily mission for these story events to clear 5 raid battles. And conveniently, also, there are 5 free raid battle challenges. This wasn't always the case, but it is now. It's always the case now. So, basically we look at this. The first 5 raids that we do are free. They don't cost any materials to host. They don't cost any AP to host. So, there really isn't a good reason not to do them unless you just don't have the time to do it. If you don't have the time to do it, that's kind of okay, because basically the only rewards are a little bit of tokens, 50 crystals, which is good, but not worth pushing yourself, because I'll always say this about any game in general. Your out-of-game health is more important than your in-game rewards. And if you just can't do it, if you're busy, you can't squeeze in the time, don't worry about it. It's not that big a deal. I didn't get to show it, but there is another thing that happens on a daily basis, and that is your login rewards. When you log in and click on the event button, you get some of this event currency, which is only used to host raids. Don't worry about hoarding these. Use them whenever you feel like it, and you get a little bit of tokens. These, if you don't log in on a day, will roll over to the next day, so you'll be able to collect those rewards from the backlog, which is helpful in case you're busy, like I said. Alright, so missions-wise, clear 5 raid battles a day, pretty easy. Join 3 raid backup requests can be tough if you are a low-rank player, because the low-rank raids don't get pubbed very often, and they die very quickly, because they just don't have the HP to support large player counts. So this one can be tough to clear. Nightmare battles, this is a chance to proc after each raid that you do. I believe the higher difficulty the raid, the higher the chance that they proc. Rewards you with drawbox tokens, which are pretty useful. And then resetting the drawbox up to 4 times, getting some draw tickets. This is a really nice one to get. Just free draws for doing the name of the game, which is collecting rewards. So, next thing on the list that we're going to cover is the loot tab. We swap over to loot. You can see you can click and to go back. So there are a few things. One, battle badges, silver and gold. They have differing drop rates based on which raid you're doing. But regardless of which raid you're doing, you will start to make progress on this. And yeah, they have different reward tiers. They reward different things, but ultimately the objective is just do raids, get stuff. Right, and you can see, you know, we've got some useful stuff like merits, blue sky crystals, more hosting materials, and over here, rings. Rings are pretty useful, especially if you're just starting out. It can be kind of tricky to get a lot of rings. You get your half elixirs, so you know you can go through the event, not really worry about your AP consumption, get some host materials, that sort of thing. Basically, it's a really simple reward. This is where the simple rewards are found. There's also Total Honors, which also has some simple rewards, but it also has some better rewards. For example, this is where you get the majority of like steel bricks and stuff, which are used for a few things. Not usually used for uncapping SR weapons. They're usually used, at the very least, for like your low-level account. I'd say, like the no gotcha account is used a couple of them for uncapping a Xeno weapon, which can come in handy depending on what you're doing. Yeah, so basically this is where we have more advanced rewards, going all the way up to, you know, high-level raid rewards in very low quantities, but at least with this you get a trickle of these as an income source. So if you're incredibly unconfident about hosting and joining high-level raids, you can get these rewards from these story events. And eventually, then, you'll be able to use those rewards to improve your grid and improve your ability to complete content. Alright, last thing on the rewards, on the loot tab, I should say, is the token draw. Token draw basically is the interface for the gacha, and comes with a specific Dropbox content. So the Dropbox contents will change depending on how many Dropboxes you have opened, up to a point. So your average event Dropbox will look like this. Golden Gift, which is a supply item that you can use coming in here to the supplies tab. I don't have any, but if you go over to the supplies tab and go to tickets, oh, I do have some. The gifts will be here, and you can open these up. They're just random items. You can really have, there's really no way to know what you're gonna find, and they're not always great items, but sometimes they're pretty useful. It can range from you know, soul drops for your EP recovery to awakening changing items to things like I believe crystals. Anyway, yeah, you also get some SR weapons. These are the SR weapons for the current event. Each event does tend to add 2 weapons, an SR and an SSR. You'll see that the join backup requests rewards are the host material and an SSR weapon. And if you do this, join raid backup requests mission, you'll get enough of this SSR weapon to fully uncap it. Event weapons don't tend to be amazing, but There are outliers, so it's worth looking to see what effects the weapon has before just deciding to use it for skill fodder. Because sometimes they're useful. Not usually, but sometimes. And for a new account, it basically just means I can do this. I can do this instead of doing a side story, but with the addition of the Knick-Knack Academy stuff, you should just do your side stories instead because you're gonna need to eventually. Okay, rings. Rings are good. Skill fodder, or weapon experience, good stuff. Summon experience, a little bit less good than weapon experience, but still good. Half elixirs, lots of half elixirs. That's another thing. Because of the fact that these half elixirs are in here, in the draw box, and in your other reward structure, story events tend to be AP positive. If you put more AP into them, you get more AP out of them. So basically, if you have free time, you can do story events. It's good stuff. Yeah, and you get a bunch of merits, a bunch of random items, including this treasure, which is random items. Then we come down to the other tab. We get crystals. So there's a few things about the draw box. Hold on. Click on that. So we can see draw box contents. We can see the different phases of draw box, right? 1 through 4 are all their own phase. Then draw box 5 through 20 is its own phase, and this contains Damascus Crystal through 4 through 10. And this number is the number of Damascus Crystals that you have missed for events leading up to the one that you're currently doing, including the ones that are added for the event. So, because Info is a baby account, I have a lot of Damascus Crystals that I could collect. So that's basically you can get 7, the 4 through 10 of these per event, plus the ones in the other reward structure. And then there's the last tier, which is after 21. You'll note this one no longer gives your gift item. It just gives quartz and skill fodder, a bunch of weapon experience. We're still getting half elixirs, so that's pretty good. But it no longer gives a lot of the important items that you were trying to get from the draw boxes up to 20, including crystals. So that's one of the cutoffs, right? A lot of people say there are a bunch of different cutoffs in story events, and that's pretty true. I'd say that the general minimum goal would be 4. Not because of anything special. So if you do 4, you get an SSR ticket. That's okay. It's pretty decent. Especially for a new account, you'll probably get something useful. But the main reason that I'd say get 4 is so you can get the extra draws. That's the mission. 4 draw boxes. And it's not actually all that hard. Then there would be people that say go for 10. Because if you go for 10, you get all your Damascus crystals. And you start making progress through this backlog. And at that point, you're getting 10 draw boxes worth of crystals. Which I believe each draw box after. Yeah, so this one you get 105. And this one you get 150 and a total of 10. So, and we're 100, so we're looking at 350 right now, 450, and then 5 through 20 is what, 16 boxes? So we're looking at like 2,050 crystals, which isn't bad. It's approaching a 10 pull. In addition to the crystals that you get for clearing the stages, clearing the story. So yeah, you make progress. Yeah, I'd say that 20 is kind of it's not a hard cap, but it's when I would stop farming, because the draw boxes after 20, as we've displayed, they don't give that much. And I usually don't do 20. I'm a bit of a lazy player. I don't like grinding all that much. Just plain and simple. Alright, so then we move down to the battles part of this in the progress tab. And basically, as you've played through the event, you'll unlock battles. These battles will give you rewards when you play them. So let's clear both of these real quick. This is hold on. Before I clear them, I'll say this is the battles tab for a low rank player. After you reach what is it? Something like rank 100, something like that. I don't remember because I've had access to it for forever. But there is another tier of raid. It'll be labeled as what is it, impossible? Let me double check that information real quick so I'm not spreading lies. Alright. Yeah, it's labeled as impossible. And it'll have a lot more HP, you know, but it'll be the same boss as the Extreme. And basically that's the one that you'll end up hitting for the join requests mission, because it's got the HP to support it. In addition to that, there'll be a proud difficulty quest that's labeled down here in a box below Raid Battle, which is just a moderately difficult challenge quest. It does vary in difficulty between which event you're doing, but this, you know, the average story event proud mission is not that difficult for a fully established account. Alright, so let me go ahead and clear these real quick, and we'll see what's going on. So it'll default you to your element. One of these elements is going to be advantaged for each event, essentially. There are some exceptions, and we'll see one real shortly, because you can have a different element for different raids, and this event does. Alright, so we'll also see we have a low level bonus, so we have, you know, pretty highly boosted stats just for existing here. I have no idea what these skills do. I'll just push all the ones that do damage. So, as we can see, this account is pretty weak, but we're still in a position where we're looking like we're gonna clear. I'm just gonna open this up to clear it as fast as possible. Because ultimately, we don't care that much about MVP or anything like that. Yeah. It's all good. No, it's all good. We don't care. Alright, so we can see, yeah, I gotcha. We can see our loot, silver badge, gold badges. Yeah, there's a small chance of getting the SSR weapon and the SR weapon and that stuff. Same as any raid, basically. It's not a big deal. First clear bonus. So you want to clear every raid that you can find in these events because you get the crystals. If we go over here, we can go to the other raid. We'll see this one's fire, which, you know, is different. Fire advantage, I should say. The actual raid is wind. So yeah, this is where we're at. The low-level raid is one that doesn't cost any of the host currency to host. It's the way that you obtain the host currency, and then you spend it on the higher level raids. And of those, the extreme raid is more efficient time-wise when you're trying to convert your raid currency into Dropbox tokens. But the impossible raid is more efficient in terms of tokens to, or in terms of host mats to tokens. Generally, people would recommend doing the time-efficient method, so you don't have to spend as much time grinding. But if you'd rather just put it on a full auto and just sit back and relax, that's all good. No one will fault you for doing that. In fact, some people would think that that's a big help because you're hosting a lot of raids, and that makes it easier to do the join raids mission. But that does just about cover it for story events for the low-level account, at least. And in general, I think I've covered all the topics. There are other event structures. We'll talk about them when we get to them. But this is a very common event structure in Granblue Fantasy. It's pretty hard to find a story event that deviates from this. You know, 6 chapters, an ending, an opening, and, you know, a few raid battles, a crowd quest, this loot structure. It's pretty much all the time. Really old events, instead of quartz, there would be a summon here, but they stopped doing those. Alright. Well, without further ado then, this has been Shadow SP, signing off. Thanks for watching.